Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for the 15th of January. All right. Now, as we come into the Asian session, you'll see that the currencies are morbidly trading sideways. There's not much going on. I know we've got the upcoming Brexit vote coming up in the UK. Now, that could be put off, could be yes or no. Looks like a no at this stage, but we'll see what's going on. Sterling, just looking at the major charts here, still slowly cruising to the top side. I think it looks like the market's short sterling, thinking it is going to be no, but that looks like it's fully factored in. So any positive news out of that, we could see cable up about 500 points. And that's sort of don't underestimate. I mean, that's no exaggeration. Let's look in the major pairs. Now, Aussie and Kiwi. The Kiwi sort of broke down through that sort of, it was an okay sort of short-term support line, but you can see there's no momentum, right? It's a trickle lower and then back into the range. So that trend line needs to be adjusted. And once again, the exact same thing happening with dollar yen, just trading through sideways, up and down through the cloud. And the trend lines are pretty crap there on dollar yen. To me, euro is still the best potential trading pair. And that's because it's got sort of support and resistance lines, top and bottom. But I'll show you the sort of data in a second. There's something weird going on, and the market is just holding back at the moment. Now, dollar CAD has had a very good run from sort of 136 down to 132. It's now sort of just trading sideways. It's lost all downside momentum. We do have resistance up here around 133, sort of 25, and we've got support down here at 132, just under 132. So, and oil has now sort of looks like it's found fair value, sitting around $50. So that seems to have gone nowhere as well. Now, what I want to do is just show you, if you're just having a look on those major pairs, check out this news. And this is where you've got to understand the news services, when the markets are in this sort of state, have got a tough job because there's nothing to write about. Safe haven yen up versus dollar after China's slowdown sparks risk off. Well, you know what? That's a load of rubbish. Because if you come back over here, I mean, just check out dollar yen. If that's going down or yen up, I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's in a 20-point range, if that. So this is where the journos, you've got to be very careful. They're starting to write rubbish just for the sake of it, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. What they are sort of referring to, if I bring you back to the data, you're looking at the numbers here, and they are weak. You look at these trade balance numbers. The actual trade balance itself was a better number. The exports, minus 4.4%, imports minus 7.6%. So really, it's not a bad result. They're importing less, but they're also selling less as well. So generally speaking, there's, I would say those trade numbers or those trade tariffs that Trump has put in place are finally starting to kick in. We saw CPI numbers in China, I think it was a week ago, much weaker than expected. The trade balance, well, it's more about what to me, the percentage of exports and imports. And just looking at the negative numbers, that's not a good sign for China. They survive on, their growth continuing, exporting, especially to the rest of the world. So that's going to be a bit of a concern as we go forward. Now, equity markets, not much going on here. The Japanese holiday yesterday, they're back online. Pretty much, they're up smalls, but not a hell of a lot to write at home about. What we're really waiting for is that next big event, and that's where you come back to looking at the overall picture of the market and trying to work out where those fundamental releases, where's the next fundamental driver going to come from? Now, the markets are back at full liquidity, but no one is willing to really jump in yet because the US dollar, has no momentum. It's drifting sideways. The Fed have come out and said what they wanted to say. They're sitting on the sidelines, going to wait and see what happens. The rest of the central banks are pretty much just sitting on the sidelines. Now, dollar CAD was moving lower primarily because of the rally in oil, rallied $10, and that took dollar CAD with it. Euro and sterling is moving up, sort of more on the back of Brexit, geopolitical event. The rest of the major currency pairs are just trading sideways, waiting for that spark to kick them into gear. And this is this is where your patience as a professional trader really needs to come into play. Don't just sit in front of the screens and start trading because you've got the time. It's about waiting for the market to be ready to give you the cash, not when you're ready. Now, Brexit. Now, this thing here is going to be loose. The real announcement was supposed to be on the 21st, okay, in 6 days. Now, this will be the first start of it. If there's no deal here, well, then it could open doors or avenues towards, I read some things where they could have another referendum, they could reverse everything, they could do all sorts of stuff. So the Bank of England has told us it's going to be catastrophic. The current UK PM, Theresa May, said it's going to be catastrophic if they don't do it. So it's a massive event. And this may be the one thing why the market is holding back just at the moment from getting involved in the rest of the pairs. Now, at the same time, if you look at the rest of the data here, we've got US PPI, an inflation number. That's a good one to be looking for see some activity on the US dollar. As I said, at the moment, it's sideways. So it is susceptible. If these numbers come in strong or really weak, we may see a move in the dollar. But of course, the Brexit thing is probably going to overshadow all of this. Draghi's speaking as well, and that'll give you something to think about there as well. So, what have we got to do at the moment? The main thing you've got to do is remain patient and vigilant and wait for the opportunities. So when you come back to sort of planning the opportunities, you're looking at the major pairs and sort of trying to work out, okay, are they going up or down? Dollar CAD is barely hanging on to a sort of a downward sort of bias at the moment, slightly down. Sterling, well, unpredictable, but it is technically moving higher. To me, the fundamentals in the UK are strong. All the economic numbers at the end of last year were still really strong. So if Brexit comes out as a good deal and they get Brexit through, I could see sterling up at 140. And that's, 12 cents higher without a shadow of a doubt. So that's where we are at the moment. So when you come back to your major pairs, what you're doing is and this is one of the cumbersome things, is you're just adjusting your charts. I mean, you're adjusting your support and resistance trend lines to the current levels. You can see just a little tweak there in euro. Sterling, well, that trend line's pretty much come and gone. Aussie still doesn't have enough shape with that sort of flush out on the 2nd, 3rd of Jan. It's just trading sideways with no real trend line. So don't get overly excited about a potential move there. And even dollar yen. See how we're just moving this trend line to the side? This is it's just 2 touches. If anything, it's like the Aussie, you're just deleting it and going, well, this isn't really technically going anywhere. And you don't want to be misleading yourself thinking of there's support and resistance. There is resistance up the top here around 109.44, and that's where it is. And also, don't forget, when you're looking at the overall picture of the fundamentals or geopolitical situation, understand the news services have to write articles. They've got things. People want fresh information, but just don't be caught running into stuff that doesn't make sense or it isn't real. They're just writing stuff for the sake of writing it. Here's Donald. I mean, he's still got his hands full with the this Russian issue. I just expect that to continue. The Democrats will be sort of all over that sort of stuff. And anyway, the rest of it, well, it's just rubbish. What we're going to do is just wait for the big numbers, get this Brexit Parliament out of the way, hopefully, and then we can start to get into some real numbers. And don't forget, when you're looking at the rest of the week, we've got some good opportunities coming up. That's why we want this Brexit out of the way, because CPI numbers, UK CPI, very important. And then also we've got Canadian CPI figures out later in the week there as well, plus UK retail sales. So hang in there. Not much going on right now, but it should kick into gear pretty soon. All right, guys, have a good one. I'll see you in the 247 trade zone. Cheerio.